Imagine this. A small school district pushed a planned RTU replacement out by nearly 2 years just by changing fixtures and tightening controls on the lights. That bought them breathing room and tens of thousands of dollars. No miracle, just measured work.
2 years? Seriously? That's the sort of number that flips a capital plan from emergency to we can breathe for a while.
Hey, welcome to On-Site Insight, where we help teams move toward equipment planning and away from crisis management. Today, we're chopping up a practical playbook. Quantify lighting heat, pick control moves that actually multiply HVAC savings, and run a short, defendable pilot that finance will take seriously.
And no, it's not just swapping bulbs and hoping for miracles. We'll show what to measure, where to pilot, and how to sell the results upward without sounding like a fairy tale.
Quick physics to anchor everything. Every watt that goes into a light ends up as heat in the space, about 3.412 BTU per watt.
So 1,000 watts is roughly 3,400 BTU an hour. That's nearly a quarter ton of cooling. Swap out 10,000 watts of old linear fluorescents for LEDs, and you're trimming multiple tons of load at peak times. Big picture, lighting is not just an electric bill win, it's mechanical relief.
So, where do you look first? I teach crews a quick 3-point scan. High-watt fixtures on long schedules.
Especially corridors and storage rooms that seem to live in the on position. Yeah.
Spaces with poor daylight control that are overlit. And after-hours lag where lights stay on when occupancy is minimal. Those 3 spots give you the quickest wins without a massive audit.
And fixture types matter. Old T12s or magnetic ballast high bays, those are converting a lot more electricity into heat than modern LEDs. Rule of thumb, LEDs usually cut fixture wattage 40 to 60% for the same light output.
Curious controls are the multiplier here. Scheduling is the baseline, get lights off when nobody's there. But occupancy sensors, dimming, and daylight harvesting compound the savings when applied correctly.
I'm going to push back hard on dimming for a second. In buildings I've worked on, a 20% drop and people call the help desk. They notice before the meter does. How do you avoid turning a small win into a flood of complaints?
Totally fair. Stage dimming is your friend. Start at a modest set point, say 80%, and step down slowly over weeks while collecting feedback. Use daylight harvesting where daylight is predictable, so the lights fade naturally. And document baseline lux levels before you change anything. Often people don't notice small drops.
Documentation is your friend and your lawyer. Also, pick the right tool for each zone. Occupancy sensors are gold in a conference room, not so much in a station where motion is intermittent.
If you're blocked from touching the lighting network, prove the concept with a hardware pilot. Swap fixtures in a couple rooms, add plug-in occupancy sensors or timers, and measure. That gives you real numbers to ask the vendor for control access.
Let's talk measurement, the part that gets nods in a finance meeting. 2 low-cost options, a portable clamp-on meter on the lighting panel or a short-term sub-meter on the feeder. Baseline for 1 to 2 weeks, then run the pilot and remeasure the same slice.
And don't forget to correlate with HVAC. Track zone temperatures, supply air temps if you can, and compare run times. If lighting watts drop during peak cooling hours, you should see compressor run times or supply set points respond. Interval utility data is gold if you have it. It can show peak demand shave dollar for dollar.
Real quick, normalize for weather. If your baseline week was cool and the pilot week was hot, you'll get false results. At minimum, note outdoor conditions and HVAC runtime so you can explain variance.
Exactly. Here's a simple, fast 3-step pilot you can run. 1. Inventory and quick math. Count fixtures, note wattages, estimate hours. 2. Pick 2 pilot zones. 1 perimeter with daylight, 1 interior. Install LEDs and a small control tweak. 3. Measure baseline and post change for 7 to 14 days. Gather occupant feedback, then package the results.
And when you package it for finance, focus on 3 things. First-year energy cost reduction, peak demand reduction converted into dollars or months of deferred capital, and a confidence statement, how many days of data and what meters you used.
One more operational win to highlight.
Lower occupant complaints about overheating. Fewer bulbs to change, more even light distribution. Those ops wins matter as line items when a director is weighing trade-offs.
Quick, tactical checklist you can run today. Note fixture count and wattages. Mark hours of use for each space. Pick 2 pilot areas. Install LEDs. Add simple controls. Baseline 7 to 14 days. Change. Remeasure 7 to 14 days. And collect 2 short occupant surveys.
If you want the exact checklist and measurement sheet, download the 2-page Lighting plus HVAC Retrofit Planner at the On-Site Insights Resources page. It has the audit checklist, a measurement template, and a slide you can drop into a budget request.
Share your pilot results with us. Send the before-after numbers and a quick note on occupant feedback. We'll feature a good example on a future episode so other teams can copy the playbook.
Quick recap before we close. Use the 3.412 BTU per watt rule to quantify lighting heat. Target long-run and high-watt zones first. Apply scheduling plus occupancy plus stage dimming where appropriate. Measure with a short baseline and a clamp or submeter. Pilot 2 zones, then scale with documented results.
And one last practical tip. Ramp dimming slowly, collect feedback, and be ready to tweak set points. A slow ramp keeps people happy and still saves you money.
Start small, measure clearly, and use lighting projects to buy time for major mechanical decisions. That 2-year breathing room I mentioned came from disciplined pilots, not guesswork.
All right, go swap a ballast or 2 and watch your AC run time. And if one of your techs finds a treasure trove of ancient bulbs, snap a picture and send it our way. We love a relic.
This is On-Site Insight, where we provide insight for your on-site. See you next episode.